All right, so we have this completely functional form. Now, what I want to do is I want to make it so that I can click on the different items in here. So let's just add another one as an example. T-Rex, 60 million years, it's a meat eater, and another one here. Oh, that was a plant eater, but whatever. All right, so we've got three things here. And what I want to do is I want to be able to maybe click on each of them and just assign a CSS style to them, maybe highlight them so I know that they're the one that's focused. If we look at our code right now, in our code here, we have these li elements. And the li elements only exist when the form is submitted. So if I wanted to add a click event to these, I have a little bit of a problem. So if at the top here, if I create a variable, let's just call it the LIs, and I'm going to make it equal to dinos space li, like this. So I've created a variable that selects all the LIs on the page. Now, if I just do a console.log, we should be able to see exactly what we're looking at. $, the LIs, like that. So now when I refresh, like this, if I go to console, you can see it's outputting one li here. If I make another one, like if I put T-Rex back in here, I still am only outputting the li once. The li's only exist in here, but if I create a variable at the top of my code, those variables only are created once. So jQuery here is searching through the whole document for all the li's that exist and putting them into this variable. If I add new li's, jQuery is not going to go searching through again automatically. We have to tell it to. So I could then add click events in here. So I could actually target the li element as it's created and add a new click event to it. But this can be a little bit too much in the sense that we have code inside or click events inside click events, which isn't so great. But also the more LIs we have, the more click events we get and the slower our browser or the slower our application works. But jQuery has something called event delegation, and that allows us to add events to things that may not exist yet, but things that may be there in the future. So if we look at our HTML here, we do have an OL, and we know that eventually we're going to have LIs in there. This one here is just for us right now as a demonstration so we can see the code, but it shouldn't be there. It's just we were using it as sort of a template when we were creating our HTML. But really, this should be empty. So I know that there's going to be LIs in here, but they don't exist right now. So I want to use event delegation to attach events to those LIs when they show up. So what we can do is we know that dinos is the OL. So we can actually add a click event to dinos like this. So dinos.onClick. But as a second argument, we can listen to only the LIs. So what happens here now with this click event is whenever we click on the dinos, the JavaScript checks to make sure that we clicked actually on an li element, and then we can fire this event. But if we don't click on the li, then this event isn't fired. So this allows us to have click events on our LIs even if they don't exist yet. So let's just do a console.log here to make sure that this works. All right, so I'll make a new thing here. All right, I'll do another T-Rex. All right, so if I click on these LIs now, you can see that I'm getting my console.log here. So it is debugging, it's working properly. But if I click on places that aren't LIs, like if I click out here or on the buttons or out here, you can see that I'm not getting my console.log. So this all technically here is the OL. If we look, the OL takes up all that space, but it only actually fires the event if I click directly on the LIs. So if I click right here in the green zone, you can see the number is going up, but if I don't click out directly on the LIs, the number isn't going up. So this is called event delegation. The idea being that we add a click event to the OL, but only when its child element, the LI, is clicked on does the event actually fire. So this works in this scenario because our LIs, when we first come to the page, there are no LIs here, so we can't actually add events to them because they don't exist yet. So we need to add an event to something else that's already there, which happens to be our OL. So now that we have them, now that the event exists on these LIs, we can do something. So we could use $this, which is a special selector that allows us to pick the thing that was actually clicked on. So in our case, that's going to be an LI, and we could do something like add class to it. Let's call it JS. What classes do I have already? No, not too many. So let's go JS highlight, like that. So in here, let me just style this to be JS highlight, and we'll just put a border on it of 3px solid black, like that. So when I create an element like this, let's create two just to make sure it works. So when I click directly on the LIs, you can see they get the border, but when I don't click on the LI directly, so I'm still technically clicking on the OL, it doesn't work, but there you can see I hit the LI, so I hit directly on it. So I'm selecting those things. I'm using event delegation to be able to click on those. But maybe I want to change my CSS here. Instead of add, let's change this to toggle. And now when I click on them, let's just add some junky ones here. When I click on them, it will add the border, and when I click again, it will remove it. So that's what toggle class is doing. So I've done event delegation here. I've added events to elements that don't actually exist yet, but using event delegation right here.